Okay, so let's be honest. Sometimes diving into financial news, it feels like almost like opening Pandora's box. But today's deep dive is going to be a little different. We're tackling a video essay that's making waves. It's called Bitcoin Fixes Capitalism. And we're going to unpack its bold claims and see if they actually hold water. Now, I'm sure you've all heard the hype around Bitcoin. But this video goes beyond the usual buzz. It argues that the real issue isn't just Bitcoin itself, but the whole system built on fiat currency. You know the government-issued money we use every day. The video's creators, Alan Farrington and Mr. Obnoxious, they make a pretty provocative case. They argue that decades of government policies, coupled with the nature of fiat money itself, have led us down a path they call managed decline. Basically, they're saying that instead of tackling the root causes of economic instability, governments are just slapping on Band-Aids, and everyday people, like you and me, are paying the price. And they point to the housing market as a prime example. Remember when owning a home was actually a realistic goal for many people? The video argues that easy credit and financial speculation fueled by fiat currency have turned housing into a game that's rigged in favor of the wealthy. Instead of a place to live, it's become just another asset for the already rich, leaving many priced out of that dream of homeownership. So what do you make of this idea of managed decline? Is our current system really unsustainable in the long run?
It's a question definitely worth unpacking. The video's argument touches on a very real anxiety that I think a lot of people are feeling these days. It's the sense that the rungs on the economic ladder are getting further and further apart, and the housing market is really just one symptom of this larger trend. I mean, if wages haven't kept pace with the rising cost of living, then who benefits from this system, and how long can it realistically last?
That's a great point. And the video doesn't shy away from pointing fingers. It uses the 2008 financial crisis as a prime example of what can happen when things go unchecked. Their argument is that easy money policies and reckless lending, all backed by governments, essentially create a ticking time bomb. But here's where things get really interesting. The video doesn't just dwell on the problems. It offers a potential solution, Bitcoin. Okay, so enough doom and gloom for now. Let's talk about solutions. This video presents Bitcoin as this like almost magical antidote to all the problems that we've been talking about. But is it really that simple?
Well, the video makes a pretty compelling case. But to really understand why Bitcoin is different, we need to kind of dig a little deeper into how it actually works. Unlike fiat currency, which, can be printed by governments basically out of thin air, Bitcoin has a fixed supply. It's capped at 21 million coins ever. And this scarcity is built into its code. It's a key part of what its proponents believe gives it value.
Okay, so instead of relying on governments to manage the money supply, we've got this decentralized system that's controlled by algorithms. It's kind of like the Wild West, but for money, right?
That's a somewhat simplistic way to put it. But yeah, you're kind of getting at the core idea. Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network called a blockchain, which basically acts like a public ledger for every single transaction. This means there's no single point of control, there's no central bank, no government calling the shots. And that's a huge part of the appeal for a lot of Bitcoin enthusiasts.
Yeah, I can see how that would be appealing, especially after talking about things like managed decline and the 2008 crisis. But if Bitcoin is supposed to be this like more stable system, how do we explain its infamous volatility? I mean, it seems like the price is constantly like swinging wildly.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Bitcoin's price is definitely known for its roller coaster-like swings. And that's honestly one of the biggest hurdles to it becoming a widely adopted currency. The video kind of touches on this, but it doesn't really fully address all the criticisms. While its limited supply, might suggest stability over the long term, its value in the short term is still largely driven by speculation and just like general market sentiment. And this can lead to these really dramatic price swings, which can be exciting if you're an investor, but really off-putting for everyday users just trying to buy groceries or pay the rent.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's one thing to talk about Bitcoin as an investment, but it's a whole other ball game to imagine it replacing the US dollar for everyday transactions. So how realistic is this vision of a Bitcoin-centric future?
Well, that's where things get really, really interesting. And to be honest, I think the video really only just scratches the surface here.
So we've explored some potential upsides and downsides of Bitcoin,
Okay.
but let's bring back down to earth for a second. What does a potential shift towards Bitcoin actually mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, that's the heart of the matter, isn't it? I mean, the video paints this picture of a world where individuals have way more control over their own finances, where governments can't just manipulate currencies at will, and where these traditional financial systems that we're used to are completely, turned on their head.
It's a bold vision for sure. But can you give us some concrete examples of how would this actually play out in our daily lives?
Well, imagine a world where you could send money to anyone, anywhere in the world instantly, with almost no fees and without needing permission from a bank or any third party. That's the kind of promise of Bitcoin's decentralized nature. It could really level the playing field for international trade and empower individuals in ways that we're honestly just starting to grasp.
That does sound pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Not everyone is like a tech-savvy global citizen, right? So what about the average person just trying to navigate their daily life, pay their bills, grab a coffee?
Yeah, that's a totally valid concern. I think one of the biggest challenges for Bitcoin right now is its user friendliness. Right now, it can be pretty intimidating for people who aren't already familiar with cryptocurrency and blockchain and all that stuff. But think about the early days of the internet. Things that seem super complex to us now could become completely commonplace, with time and innovation.
So are we talking about a future where we're all paying for our coffee with Bitcoin? What happens to our jobs, our savings, our retirement accounts in this Bitcoin-powered world?
Those are all million-dollar questions. And honestly, I think the video only offers these small glimpses into possible answers. It suggests that a shift towards Bitcoin could lead to totally new industries and job opportunities, especially in areas like, blockchain technology and this whole world of decentralized finance. And it also argues that Bitcoin's limited supply could actually help protect savings from inflation. But it's super important to remember that, these are just potential scenarios. The future is not set in stone, and there are so many factors that could influence how all of this actually plays out.
Yeah, it's a little bit daunting at the same time. We're standing at the edge of this uncharted territory. What's your big takeaway from all of this?
The key takeaway for me is just the importance of critical thinking. The video presents this really compelling case for Bitcoin, but it's not a silver bullet solution to all of the world's problems, and it's so crucial to consider all sides of the argument. Don't just accept the hype or the fear-mongering, you know what I mean? Do your own research, ask those tough questions, and decide for yourself what role, if any, you think Bitcoin might play in the future of finance.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought. The future of money is being written right now as we speak. And whether you're a die-hard Bitcoin enthusiast or a total skeptic, it's a conversation worth engaging with. So keep learning, stay curious, and as always, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.